Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your money and career reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin the reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Fantastic. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries, money and career, Aries. Money and career, Aries. Money and career, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to see the overarching situation here and what is grounding us during this time. So kind of think of it as a tree. So we're going to start off with the grounding. We have the eight of swords, there we go, the Queen of Swords, and the Nine of Pentacles. So that's really interesting. The economy here between the wealth that we are accruing, getting should be the word I'm using, and the doubt that we have is very, it's going to be very hard, because there's a sense of having to celebrate what we've worked towards, and there's also going to be a sense of, I haven't done enough. I'm not going to be able to get there. You know, this worry, this fear around money that just doesn't seem to end. And yet the Queen of Swords is like cutting it right down at the knees. The Queen of Swords is the warrior queen, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There's a real sense of, I know what I want. I know what I'm going after. I'm embracing transformation. You know what? Business is business, and this is what I'm going to go after. So we have the 10 of Pentacles and the World. That's brilliant. We have the 10 of Wands and 10 of Cups. And then we have the Queen of Cups and the Hermit. The Queen of Cups represents water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, and the Hermit represents Virgo energy. Let me move my camera back just a bit so you can see better. Brilliant. Okay. So let's look at, before we dive into this, let's look at the energy, the chakra energy we have to be aware of during this time. Aries, money and career, Aries. Money and career, Aries. Angels and spirit guides. Balance. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because on the one hand, there's this sense of beauty, and then on the other hand, there's a sense of fear. So the root chakra, the balance that is needed, is going to be not to let one side or the other get out of hand. It's going to be to look at what needs to be looked at, and not to get overly afraid, overly anxious, overly upset, because this is going to be a time where we tend to go to extremes. And if we embrace balance, we embrace temperance, we embrace a greater understanding of ourselves and that confidence within ourselves, we're going to find out that we do better. But that's going to be where we have a hard time, the root of balance. It doesn't seem like our tree has stable roots right now. And either we have to make them stable, you know, we have to stabilize ourselves, or we have to we have to look at why we're feeling that way, because there is this real sense of, no, there is prosperity here, there is bounty here. Why do I feel like I'm not enough? Why do I feel like the rug is going to be pulled out from underneath me any second? So that is going to be something that's very important to look at. And then we have the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Aries has to be mindful of for money and career? What is the energy that Aries has to be mindful of for money and career? Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, this one right here just fell right out. And it is the death card. It is the transformation. We're going through a time of transformation. So that makes sense. That makes sense why we don't feel balanced. Because when we go through a transformation, a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of a new, a kind of redefining of who we are, what we want, what we're looking towards, what we desire, how we're stating success within our lives. Okay, there is the sense of feeling on shaky ground, as if the rock's under our feet. It's if there's an earthquake. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. And what Spirit is saying here is that as we have this transformation, and also as we deal with sneakiness, there are going to be people during this time that feel like, well, I need to get ahead. I need this. And it doesn't matter what happens to you. It matters what happens to me. And this can really hurt our sense of loyalty as Aries, as a general. The Aries is the god of war. So in Greek mythology, Aries was the god of war that was taken and used in Roman mythology. Of course, names were just changed, but were they for Aries? I don't know. Yeah, Mars. It became Mars. So here, there is that sense of power, but there's also that sense of loyalty. I cannot move forward. I cannot command people that I don't feel a loyalty to. So Aries tends to be very loyal people, even if people don't always see that, because we're looking at the battle, we're looking at what needs to be done, we're putting people where their strengths will shine. And there's a real talent to Aries energy. So when we have the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, when we have this sense of people being sneaky around us and not always being able to see the full picture because we are evolving, because we are moving forward, that makes us feel like we don't have the footing that we so desperately need in order to have that kind of sense of, I can take that risk. I can go after that adventure. I can have the confidence in myself. So at this time, the Eight of Swords, it plays a huge part. The Eight of Swords is not being able to see within us. It's doubts and it's fears. And no, it's not being able to see within us the talent. It's thinking, I'm always going to, one wrong step and I'm going to mess up. One wrong way forward and it's all going to fall apart. Because we're being told here, watch out. Watch out, you can feel the water while you're going to go into the ocean. If you misstep, you're not. You feel that steel at your back. Well, you step forward anyway, you're going to be cut. You're not. So there's a sense here of having to get out of our own minds, having to not listen to things that we were preconditioned to pay attention to, and to start looking at ourselves and saying, okay, I know me, I do. And I know my strengths, and I know my weaknesses, and I'm harder on myself than others can ever be. And so I have to look at myself honestly, especially when it comes to my career. Now, there can be people who said, you can't do it. This is a time where you prove them wrong. This is a time where people, it's kind of like sharks in the water smelling blood. People can see that you're rocky, so they're going to want to attack. And the way to combat this is, I know my worth. No, I know where I'm headed. And it can be being a bit cold. People will say, Aries, why aren't you that passionate and warm person I'm used to? It's like, because I have to do things, because I have to move forward, because I have to go after this part of me. It's an intrinsic part of me. This sense of cutting through the nonsense, seeing what I desire, looking at my goals, looking at my greater understanding, and opening up the door. There's a sense here we're crowned with transformation. And we can see that. We need that balance from that transformation. We need that greater insight, that greater sense of self. There is this sense here of opening up to ideas and what we want. And we have to be a little less compassionate. And that sounds terrible to say, but it's not terrible. It's like, I have to stop thinking, okay, how is this going to be for everyone? I have to start thinking, how is this going to be for me? If I always put myself last, if I always, overextend myself, if I always, put too much on my plate, how will I ever be finished? And we might say, okay, but I don't always do this. Yeah, that's fine. We do have times when we burn out. when we feel overwhelmed, when all of a sudden we just feel trapped in the expectations that are around us. And this is a time where we have to start to see there's beauty. There's beauty in the seeds that we have planted. We can't look too far ahead because it's going to terrify us. We can't plan always for the future. We just can't. We can do our best, and then we kind of have to forget the rest. So here, there is a sense of prosperity and power and beauty. It's coming. But we have to foster this. The worry, the doubt, the fear, the sleepless nights, the upset, the not feeling our best, that will take away from what we're able to put on the table, from what we're able to produce. And it moves us with this understanding of, I need to celebrate what I have achieved. I need to celebrate how I have moved forward. It moves us to the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is wealth that lasts for generations. If we look at our strengths, not what people say our strengths should be, but if we look at our strengths and we say, okay, I'm good at this, or I have a mechanical mind. So we can become engineers, yes, but we can also become plumbers and electricians and, teachers and people who make a difference and who are intrinsically important in our world. And be successful at that, because we're looking at our aptitude and saying, this is what I'm good at. How does that translate into success? How does that translate my way forward in life? And there's a sense here of ancient wisdom guiding us. There's a sense here of listening to our elders, if our elders, are wise, not if our elders are always telling us, what we're doing wrong. So there's this real sense of opening up our minds and our ideas, because the money is coming. The money is coming. There's a period after that. Now, it might not be a lot of money. It might be a very little bit of money, but it might be enough to show I can do this. It might be enough to start giving us hope, to start setting things up. And that's what we need. A world without hope is not a world worth living in. There needs to be that beauty. There needs to be that expanse of the human soul. And that starts to open the world to us in a very real way. Excuse me. We're going to find here that animals give us guidance, okay? We're also going to find that children see a little bit more clearly, can call us out. I think it's kind of like the emperor's new clothes, when the emperor is walking around, stark naked, and the little kid says, why aren't you wearing any clothes? And he's like, oh, oh my gosh, I didn't know I wasn't wearing any clothes. And we have a tendency to get too involved in the dealings with others, that we're missing the bigger picture. So do be mindful of that during this time, because the money can come, and the money does come, but it comes in a way that it completes a cycle. And we're going to see ourselves completing cycles within money, within work, and also within our emotional understanding and connection with our money, with our work, with what we have to give to the world, and how we move forward. Because we tend to think that everything we do, and we're sold this, like everything we do has to be fulfilling, has to, give us some sort of pride at the end of the day. And it's not always the case. Sometimes even when we do what we love, it's work. It's just having to sit down and do it. And so here, as the world opens, it's also the reality of the world that opens. There's a sense of victory, yes, because we've gotten this far, because I can see what I need to do. I can see what steps have to be taken. But also, I claim my power. I claim my prosperity. I claim my place within this existence, and I walk in victory of self. It's like those people that you see, they're not more talented than others. They're not, greater in any way than others, but they exude this confidence. And that confidence is something that, yes, it can be learned, okay, but it's something that has to be focused on. That confidence, that standing tall, that sense of, I can do this, I can move forward in victory. And it's not taking on everything at work. This is going to be something that's going to be really hard, because again, we're the generals. We're the ones that should be carrying everything. The god of war, the person who leads. We're the ones that have the whole weight of the success of the campaign on our shoulders. So we think, okay, just take it on. Just take it on and I can do it. Just force and will and determination, it'll get me there. It'll have us looking at our feet, and all we can see is dirt and mud. All we can see is our labor and the fact that we're not getting where we want to be, because we're not looking up. We're not seeing that the landscape changes. We're seeing the dirt and the mud and our feet. We're seeing the holes in our shoes and how much longer and how long we have walked and how much further we have to go. There's a sense here of letting certain things go. Saying to people, you have to pull your weight. Like, you have to do this. I will do what I'm supposed to do. But I cannot carry everything. And if this means we ourselves have to start delegating and saying, okay, you know what, I can do this, but I can't do this. You know, I need help here. I need help here. If we need to talk to somebody and say, I thought I could handle this. I thought I took on, you know, the right amount. It was too much. But even if this is just in our lives, saying, all right, I can't protect everybody. I can't stop everything. And so I'm opening up the door. And I'm saying, you have to carry your stick. And you have to carry your stick. You have to learn your life lessons. You have to see your truth, your passion, your power, your greatness. Because me carrying it is not doing anything for anybody. And it moves us to the 10 of Cups. It moves us to success and prosperity and bounty and happiness because I let myself see the sky. I let myself be free. And you might be saying, okay, Dean, I can't let things go right now. If I let it go, you know, everything's going to fall apart. I have to pay the bills. I have to keep the food coming in. I have to. And that's understandable. We can live for a short period of time under the weight of the 10 of Wands. We cannot live our whole lives like this because it does terrible things to our body. It hurts us. It breaks us. And so making time and saying, I need time just to sit and laugh. Even if it's, you know, putting on our favorite, you know, TV show while we're exercising or while we're walking the dogs or, well, maybe that's a bad idea. Like listening to it in our ears or a podcast or something like that, where I can just laugh. I can just embrace joy and I can feel the weight of the world coming off my shoulders. I can embrace play. I can embrace happiness. We can't do this if we don't feel safe, if we don't feel secure. And the problem is that when stress starts to build, it keeps on building. It keeps on coming on our shoulders over and over and over again. There needs to be a release of the inner child within us, the way the parents here are mirrored by the children. It needs to be a release within our souls, within ourselves. And it brings us to the Queen of Cups. When we turn inward during this time, we're going to be very harsh on ourselves. And the Queen of Cups is saying, stop it. Stop it because there is beauty here. Stop it because there is prosperity here. And there's caring and there's nurturing. And it's what is seen when I look into me. Not what is seen when I look at everybody else. I have to care for them. I have to nurture them. It's kind of like enough is enough with that. Just for this time. And it's not being mean. It's not being cruel. It's not saying I'm not upholding my responsibilities. I believe very firmly in responsibilities and upholding them. What it does mean is that as I look inward, you know, as I look at what is wanted, I start to praise myself. I start to see a job well done. I let myself have quiet moments where instead of saying, this is what everybody needs of me, I say, what is it that I need of me? How is it that I need to handle this? What is it that's important to me? What are the values that I need to uphold within myself? And it brings us to this greater realization because we're coming again to a completion of a cycle around money, around career, and around our heart, around what we love. And we're starting to see things merge together in a way where we can be victorious within this world, but not if we doubt every single step, not if we're kept blinded, okay? Our hands are bound, feeling like I can't do what needs to be done, and not knowing, having that insecurity. So if this is our workplace, if this is our lives, we have to start taking small steps to gain back the prosperity, the abundance, and the joy. Small steps to have the beauty of purpose come back in. And that's where the ferocity has to come from. It's like, no, I'm not being pushed around. I'm not being held back. And this leads to embracing the beauty, to embracing the wealth, a job well done, not looking too far into the future because it's going to be overwhelming. It's looking at this moment and saying, I see it. I see it and I see me. And as we do this, we start to see things changing. We start to see ourselves changing. We start to see the doors opening. And that's going to be so terribly freeing for us. So let's see here. Let's go just a little bit deeper. Please define the reading for Aries. Please define the reading for Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. the Four of Swords, resting after a long battle. That makes perfect sense. And the Nine of Wands, not listening. That's exactly what Spirit had us say before. Not listening to what everybody else has to say, not living for everybody else. We have fought a good fight. We always fight a good fight. We might look at it later on and say, oh, well, I didn't need to fight then, or, oh, I didn't need to be that intense then. But we have to give ourselves the respect where the respect is due, and not listening to everybody else all the time, chipping away and saying, well, you shouldn't be like this in your career, or you shouldn't be doing this, is going to be important. Because if we're listening to everybody else, if we're trying to make everybody else happy, if we're living for everybody else, we will get knocked down and we will stay down. Especially when it comes to our career. Especially. Because it's like the money's coming in, but we're going to doubt that it can come in. There is a sense here of needing to be more compassionate with ourselves. If we're not, then it's kind of like the game over. And that sounds rather, harsh. But it is going to be very much that sense of, if I can't start being compassionate with me, who the heck can I be compassionate with? So let's look at our spirit animal message. Aries. Show me clearly for Aries, money and career. The peacock spirit, let it shine. Let the beauty, let the prosperity, let the brilliance of the heart shine. And let the money in. Let it in. Yeah. Okay. Our subconscious spirit animal message is watch our words. Watch your words. They make us or they break us. How we talk about ourselves, how we define ourselves, it means so much. And yet we don't think about our inner thoughts. We don't think when we drop something, we go, oh, how stupid can I be? Or, oh my gosh, I'm always such a klutz. It's like, no. It's like, I dropped it. My goodness, it fell on the floor. Now it's time to clean it up. But I keep on moving forward. It's not apologizing for everything all the time. Saying, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, well, I made a mistake. Have you ever noticed that the people who need to apologize, they don't? But the people who don't need to apologize do it all the time? Enough is enough. Stop saying I'm sorry all the time. Start claiming our space, because it's important. And it moves us to our subconscious chakra message, which is truth. Speak the truth. It might not always win you friends, okay? And, there's a difference between speaking the truth and going on a crusade. So, with the throat chakra, and this is, of course, the throat chakra, speaking the truth means believing in what we are saying. Going on a crusade can mean that I get upset, I get angry, and, I'm just focusing on that problem. Choose our battles wisely, or else they just become a mess. And that's what we're seeing here. Speak the truth, say what needs to be said, know what needs to be known about the situation, about the way forward, and believe in you. It leads us to our subconscious person message. Well, energy message of being mindful of the King of Pentacles. Be mindful of simply chasing the almighty dollar. Be mindful of the person who is simply chasing the almighty dollar, but also be mindful that things are more interconnected than we think they are. And there's power in that. It moves us to the subconscious tarot message, the deeper definition of the Knight of Wands. This is us. We're charging forward, but we're looking backwards. It's like, what did I miss? What did I miss? What needs to be done? Oh my gosh, didn't I do something? Or is there's something better that I left behind? No, charge forward. Charge forward and keep your eye on your goals. Period. It leads us then to our subconscious message for this whole entire reading, which is the King of Pentacles. Wealth, prosperity, and success. It's going to be, the thing that is our blessing is going to be our downfall. Not downfall, that's harsh, but it's going to be what we need to be the most mindful of during this time, because we can be focused on wealth and let wealth be the only guider. But if we're not focused on the emotion behind it, if we're not focused on how hard we're working, how much we have drained ourselves, the recovery is going to be way longer than just saying, I need to take a day off. Than just saying, no, I can't handle that much on my plate. Than saying, oh, I should say yes to everything. It's like, no, I should be more discerning on what I take on and what I don't take on. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we balance ourselves towards prosperity and success. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony